Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the For Goodness Sake YouTube channel. As always, I'm your host, Master Teklu, and today I want to give you a quick answer to the questions on everybody's mind, which is, are we about to go to World War III? All right, is this the start of World War III, and are we about to go to war with Russia? I know it's really confusing. You see a lot of news reports right now, and it's got everybody on edge, I'm sure. Or at least just wondering what the heck is going on in Russia and Ukraine. So I want to give a quick rundown of what's going on. I've had a couple people ask me what I think about this, and so here's my big answer. Okay, so what's been going on in Russia is more accurately, really, what's been going on in Ukraine is Ukraine, Russia, they have some ties going back a long time, but right now, for the past 100 years, really. Ukraine's been independent. Some parts of it have a lot of Russian speakers in it, and a lot of people who kind of define themselves as ethnically Russian. Their history goes back to Russia. That's what they consider themselves. And so right now there are two parts of Ukraine that Russia believes they own themselves. They believe that those people are not a part of Ukraine. They think that those people want to be part of Russia and that they deserve to have independence and all this stuff. So what's happened in the past year is there's been a bunch of Russian forces on the border between Russia and Ukraine. And that's not good for, most people who see that. Anytime you see a bunch of soldiers anywhere in the world, especially around borders, things are, not in a good spot. So a couple weeks ago, I wrote a post kind of outlining my predictions for the year, and Russia was still, and Ukraine was a big topic at the time, and so I kind of made my predictions of whether I thought Russia was going to invade Ukraine in the next 6 months, and whether or not I thought that the United States was going to go to war with Russia in the next 6 months. And so the first answer, I thought that it was pretty likely that Russia was going to invade Ukraine. I said, yeah, they would, about 50% likelihood. Whatever that means. It just means, I think that they will, right? That's what I thought a couple weeks ago, and I stick by that, given recent events in the past few days. And I also thought that we were not going to go to war with Russia. The United States was not going to go to war with Russia over Ukraine, and I hope that that's still true. I said that was probably 80% likelihood. I hope that I'm right about that. I still think that that we're not going to, and I hope that just stays true. Because as one of the people who hit me up, my guy Zach, shout out Zach Taylor, he asked me if we were going to go to Russia, go to war with Russia, and I was like, nah, I really hope not. I don't think so. And he was like, yeah, we don't have the money for that. And I think that's what a lot of people feel right now is like we have our own stuff going on. We have a lot to worry about economically and just in our own backyard here, and we don't need to worry about adding on the cost of war, both financially and also in the cost of lives, right? There will be a lot of casualties with war. So the past couple days, Russia has moved kind of up the ante. They've declared that those regions are independent, that they're no longer recognizing that they're a part of Russia, Ukraine, and they've also declared that they need to move in to keep the peace in those areas, which seems to really just mean that they want to invade and put their own forces on the ground and kind of take control of that area, take it away from Ukraine, right? So Russia is moving to invade as we speak. It seems like I was right, unfortunately, which I wish I was not, because I don't want any type of invasions or any war anywhere. But it seems like I was right about Russia invading. And really what that's going to look like is Ukraine and Russia fighting over these parts of Ukraine right now. Russia has said that the people there want to be Russian, and it seems like from my perspective, whatever I can tell, that's not true. There have been some studies conducted in those regions with people from the cities in those regions and all across the rural aspects of the region. And even the people who are ethnically Russian, who call themselves Russian, they speak Russian, they do not want to secede and be part of Ukraine. It was like, 50% want to stay as part of, they don't want to recede and be part of Russia. Something like 50% of them, a little bit over than that, want to be a part of Ukraine, and like 27% of them want to be part of Russia, and everybody else is kind of just like, I don't know. I see both sides, I guess. I don't know. So regardless, it doesn't seem like it's some overwhelming, nationalist, movement where these people want to be a part of Russia and that's just their choice and we should just allow them to secede. It doesn't seem like that's what's happening. It seems like it's really an invasion. And though some people want to be a part of Russia, overwhelmingly, the majority seems like they don't want to be. And this is not what the majority of people there even want. That being said, recently, today and yesterday, the United States and the European Union all kind of came together and decided that they were going to put sanctions on Russia, economically, financially, and try and make sure that they're feeling a financial pinch for their actions. I think that's probably the best thing that we should do. Continue diplomacy, try and continue to lower tensions, get as much violence to not happen, and whatever violence does happen, get it to be reduced as much as possible. That's always a good policy, and try and solve these problems diplomatically. But I don't think we're going to go to war. I think that it would be foolish for us to go to war over, parts of Ukraine that, we'd have no interest in really. I think that, this is a country that's on the other side of the world from us. Of course, we sympathize. We can do things like give them humanitarian aid, help them out as much as we can. We're giving weapons to them, and we're sanctioning Russia for their bad actions. But, this isn't, Russia coming in and invading Mexico right on our border. This isn't Russia coming in and invading Canada or even one of the other countries like Japan and Vietnam and, the European countries that we have really close ties with and that we've got long-standing treaties that, basically announce that we want to support them. If somebody invades them, we got their back. We don't have any treaty like that with them. Unfortunately, I think that this has to be resolved between those two, and we should be mediating. We should be, slapping Russia's hands with sanctions and things like that to try and make sure that that they're not going any further or do the best that we can. But war is really, really bad. As I'm sure we all know, I think everybody underrates how bad war is. And so I think that we should always try and remember how many lives will be lost, how many, cities and just institutions in general will just be destroyed and have to be rebuilt from scratch. And also an unspoken part of war that almost always happens is, the sexual assault of women, girls, men too, but of course primarily women and girls that almost always happens when like really bad wars break out. So we should want to prevent that as much as possible, including by one of the things we can do to just prevent more war is by not getting involved ourselves, at least with troops on the ground in that sense. So that's my long story, short answer of what's going on in Russia and Ukraine and whether or not I think that we will be going to World War III or if World War III will be starting anytime soon. I really hope it won't. I think that everything on all the tea leaves are saying that we won't go to war over this, and I think that's a good move. And I hope you guys all agree with that because war is really bad. Our quote of the day today will be a quote from H.G. Wells about war. H.G. Wells once wrote that if we do not end war, war will end us. And I think that's a perfect way to kind of end on a somber note here because war is really bad. It's going to be bad for the Ukrainians. It's actually going to be bad for Russian soldiers too, but apparently the military brass has decided it's worth it. I hope that we do not decide it's worth it for us. All right, y'all. Take care. Bye-bye.